Mike here from the Focus Garage, and in today's video, we're going to be covering my first driving impressions on my Mark 7 Golf GTI. Now, as you guys may have already known, I did trade in my 2015 Jetta TDI for a 2016 Volkswagen Golf GTI Autobahn Edition. Now, you know, I'm staying in the Volkswagen family. Ironically, the car is even the same exact color that my Jetta was. They're both pure white, but it is a much different driving experience. I'm not going to cover so much in this video as to why I made the switch from that vehicle, to this vehicle, but I do just kind of want to preface, this as to what's happening in this video. So we're going to jump right into it here. My impressions on this vehicle, take them as you will, but I have owned many hot hatches. I've owned an SVT Focus, which would be, your first generation Focus, their sporty version of it. I've owned a Fiesta ST, I've owned a Focus ST, and I've pretty much driven anything else that this car would compete with, like a Mini Cooper, Civic Si, stuff like that. So I've really kind of owned and or experienced what this car was, built to go up against, and its competition, to really give you an idea of what I feel about this car. So first things first, jumping right into the car. I've owned it for about a month now and did right around 1,000 miles, a little bit more, and I've done, pretty much all of my daily commuting to and from work in it, which is about a 60-mile round trip, as well as some back road, kind of exciting driving here, and just, mixed highway driving as well. So really kind of put the car through all the different types of driving that it's going to see. I do plan to, drag race this car as well as autocross this vehicle as well. I really ultimately decided on this car because it fits a bunch of different criteria. The car is going to get, pretty decent gas mileage, very tunable, and it's a nice place to be. So we're going to start with that. This car is a very nice place to be. The overall build quality and touch and feel and fit and finish of the interior is, and I'm not knocking, other brands, but this is very top notch compared to a lot of what the competition offers. We've got, soft touch materials everywhere. This is the Autobahn, so it's got the ambient lighting inside. I know you can't obviously see now, it's daytime, but the doors have red stripes in them. There's LED lighting in the footwells, LED lighting throughout the interior, and it makes the car feel very upscale, very premium for what is essentially, based off of a Volkswagen Golf. It's got adaptive xenon headlights that turn with the car, LED fog lights, very nice gauge cluster. I think the Autobahn also adds leather seats instead of the leatherette. I believe the bolsters are leatherette, but the actual seat itself is real leather, which really feels nice. You've got heated seats, all that, but I'm not going to rattle off the features to you, even though I think I named like all of them. But the car is a very nice place to be. Steering wheel feels great. It's just something you get excited to drive, just knowing that it's a comfortable place. Squeaks and rattles are very at bay at a minimum, with the exception of this effing sunroof. There's a TSB, and it looks like they still don't have this right, even on the 2017, 2018 GTIs. The sunroofs rattle and they creak when it's cold enough and you go over big enough bumps in the road. I wonder if we'll pick up any in this video, but as long as it's above like 40 or 50 degrees, you can pretty much go a whole day without ever hearing that noise. So, if you do own one of these, I'm sure you're aware of that. If you haven't owned one yet, or you're planning on owning one, if it has a sunroof, be aware the sunroof's probably going to creak and rattle. No big deal. So, first things first, interior, great place to be. Car feels very premium and upscale inside. Secondly, the driving dynamics of this car. They are adjustable per se. Obviously, depending on your option package, some cars will be more adjustable than others when it comes to the GTI. But you can change, through modes. There's a normal mode, an individual mode, where you can pick all the different settings, and then a sport mode. And you can play with things like the weightedness of the steering, the throttle kind of sensitivity with it there, so how aggressive your throttle is or not. It's got obviously the fake engine noise. I believe they call it the sound actor in this vehicle, so you've got that, but a bunch of other settings as well, and we can cover that more in detail if people want to see that. But the driving dynamics of this car are very good. You can put it completely normal mode, have the transmission in normal mode, and the car putzes along like a normal car, shifts early, pretty much drama free. However, when you kind of firm the car up, put everything in sport mode, that's when you're going to get the DSG farts. This car is the automatic, the 6-speed DSG in the 2016s here, and when you put it in sport mode, the car does change a lot. So I've got my own kind of individual driving settings that I've got, because I like the heavier steering, but when you're doing regular driving, I don't want the transmission in sport mode. But just by toggling through the modes, you can go from like a regular daily driving type car to something that's a lot more fun to drive, where it's excitable, and that's one of those things that's hard to explain over video, but if you've driven any vehicle that's excitable, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. You know, the car will want to turn in positively into corners and everything like that. And if you are looking at these, especially if you're looking at them used, because they do depreciate very, very nicely, I strongly recommend that you look at cars with the performance package. What that means on a Mark 7 GTI, if the vehicle has a performance package, is that it's going to have a limited slip differential and the bigger brakes from the S3/Golf R. So those two things right there make it worth it. And I think on the older models, like the 2015 through 2017, it gives the car like 10 more horsepower, but there's no parts that are different. It's just, you know, the tuning of it. But still, you know, more horsepower, not going to complain, but you really feel it when you're cornering hard and, you know, braking hard. It's a very worthwhile upgrade. And when the car is used with, you know, 20, 30,000 miles on it, it really doesn't impact the value of it. So you can really, you'd be doing yourself a disservice to buy one without the performance package, especially if you're buying it used. I mean, when it's new, I forgot how much it is, but I can understand cost cutting comes into play there. You know, you got to fit the budget, but if you're looking at these used, you know, definitely a way to go. It's another impression, quote unquote, with this vehicle is these are a smoking deal to buy used right now. This particular one, like I said, is a 2016, so it's a couple years old now, but it was certified pre-owned, so you've got the 2-year, 24,000-mile Volkswagen warranty on that. And then also with that, these depreciate greatly. I think I've said this in my last video when we introduced the car, but this car is stickered for almost $37,000. It was like 36 and some change, and I picked this up for not even $21,000. It was $20,800 or something like that. And it's a 2016 with 28,000 miles or so when I bought it. So the fact that you're getting a car that's depreciated that much, it's a real bargain. You know, the car is absolutely fun to drive. Gas mileage, you know, hopping right along here. I'm not trying to be scatterbrained, but we want to keep this video more short and concise here. Coming up to a roundabout, so let's see how competent everybody is at driving. In we go. Anyways, gas mileage. So that was one thing that made me not want to get rid of the TDI, is obviously that vehicle gets, you know, very good gas mileage, and I'll never own anything that gets that great of gas mileage ever again. But this vehicle itself, judging that the way I drive it and, you know, the type of vehicle it is, I'm averaging anywhere from 27 to 28 miles per gallon, or 25 to 28 miles per gallon per tank. So 25 to 28 mpg in a you know, turbocharged car that makes okay power and that's very fun to drive. Incredible. I'm very pleased with that. With these two, strangely enough, you can run regular gas if you wanted to, but I do run premium just for, you know, the little bit added performance benefit. And I know, you know, some people say it's placebo, some people will say it's not, but it's better for the engine, you know, less, oh no, there's glass on the road, less carbon buildup, and then when running premium, you know, the vehicle gives a little more power, allowing you to get a little bit better MPG, so it runs more efficiently. So, you know, take that as you may, but, you know, 25 to 28 MPG in a car like this, can't complain at all. You know, that's definitely a win for me. Makes me very pleased that this car gets that kind of gas mileage. So, you know, here we're going to kind of wrap this up shortly here. So you've got the vehicle that's very nice place to be. You know, build quality is very, you know, I don't want to say top notch, because obviously it's not, you know, a $70,000 luxury car, but for what you pay for this vehicle, it's a very nice place to be inside. The 2016s and up also get a revised head unit that have Android. Oh, the sunroof creaked. I don't know if you can hear that. Revised head unit with Android Auto, Apple CarPlay. This one's got the navigation in it. You know, heated seats, digital climate control, so premium features. Vehicle is very fun and exciting to drive. So, you know, depending on what kind of mood you're in, you know, you can put the car in, you know, normal mode, drive it around completely normal, and then if you want to go hit up some back roads, you go ahead, put everything in sporty dynamic mode, and, you know, you go ahead and rip stuff up with the vehicle. Definitely feels great for that. Gas mileage, you know, on point with the car. Definitely a vehicle that you can do commuting in. And another thing I want to touch on with it as far as commuting goes is suspension. This vehicle is significantly more comfortable than most hot hatches I've owned. The Fiesta ST especially, and even the Focus ST slightly, were a little more harsh on the ride side, whereas this car is very smooth and compliant. You can do 80 miles an hour down the highway on this car like no one's business, and it glides along. You know, a lot of times these smaller, short wheelbase hot hatch cars with sportier suspension beat you up on the ride. You know, stiff ride, and it's kind of pogo-y, it bounces around a lot, but not in this car at all. This car is very smooth and compliant, but it surprised me. You know, that was one thing I definitely did not expect, to have such a compliant, smooth suspension. This isn't going to be a things I hate and things I love video. This is more just a first impressions. The car is small. You know, a lot of people think hatchbacks have a lot of room. This car, I mean, I'm sure you've seen it from the outside, and we can show you in the inside. The trunk is not very large at all in this vehicle. Well, the hatch, not a lot of space back there, which again, it's fine. You can fold the seats down, and then you've got tons of room. But if you're going to try and carry like 4 people and cargo, definitely be aware that you're going to be limited as to what you can bring with the car. Another thing, with this particular vehicle, this one's the Autobahn, and it does have the optional driver assistance package, which I love. That was one of the things I wanted. I was looking originally at Golf Rs and S3s before I bought this, and one of the things that made me actually transition to this GTI was the cost savings, obviously. But on top of the cost savings, you can get a lot of the same tech from the more premium Golf R and S3 in this. So this car has got the adaptive cruise control, where it'll match the speed of the car in front of you and keep a safe distance. It's got the lane keep, where it'll keep you in its lane. It's got the blind spot monitoring, and then it's got parking sensors 360 degrees all the way around the car, and it's been a beauty to drive with. This car will actually park itself, parallel parking, or even pulling into spots. But for a car this small, I really don't think you need something like that, especially with all the sensors and a backup camera. Neat to have. I don't use the parking assist, but I love having the blind spot monitoring again. I've missed that since I got rid of my S4, and the adaptive cruise control with the lane keep is something of another level. I don't want to say it's full on Tesla autopilot, but I mean it pretty much is. It isn't meant to drive the car by itself. It's meant to kind of assist you. But let's just say through some closed road, closed course testing here, you can literally be driving the car down the highway, take your hands off the steering wheel, foot off the pedals, and the car will not only keep you in its lane, but also match the speed in the car in front of you, so it doesn't get too close, which is freaking sweet. There's no other way to put that. So that was a neat little benefit thrown in with the car here. So plans for this car, we're going to cover this in pretty much every video that we talk about this vehicle, is I do want to go full bolt-on with this car. We're going to do wheels, we're going to do coilovers, we're going to do downpipe, we're going to do big turbo with this car. I've decided I do want to go IS38. I think a 350 wheel horsepower daily driver would be very, very fun. And unlike the Focus ST that I had, this car does have a limited slip differential, so that should help with putting the power down a little bit more. Whoa, some crap in the road there. So yeah, we're definitely going to go full bolt down with this car. We're going to do exhaust. We're going to tune it, DSG tune, engine tune, and we're going to see where we end up. This will definitely be a fun car to drive, fun car to daily, and we're going to do some auto sport with the vehicle as well. So stay tuned for the ride of this vehicle. I can't wait to see where we are 6 months, a year from now with this car. Let me know in the comments what you think below. Do you own a Mark 7 GTI? Do you own a hot hatch? Are you thinking of buying these cars? What brought you to this video? Are you just a subscriber? Let us know down below. Definitely love this car. It's been one of actually my favorite cars that I've owned. A little side note there. I've owned somewhere in the realm of 17 to 20 vehicles, and I would rank this in my top 3 vehicles that I've owned. And I've only had this car for a month. It just does so many things so well, which is another reason that drew me to it here. And it's at a good price point when you're picking these up used. We'll see. A lot of people want to knock VW reliability, but this is my 3rd Volkswagen product here, so we'll see. This is Mike from the Focus Garage, and I will catch you guys in the next video.